everyone, welcome to Your Right to Know with Tony DeFazio of DeFazio and Ziden. We talk about the process of law and your rights to know. And today we're talking about grand jury and cases that go to the grand jury and cases that don't go to the grand jury. And what are the differences?
Well, the grand jury system is an old system. It goes back to England. It goes back 700-800 years ago. The whole point of the grand jury system is the same it was then as it is today, to prevent political prosecution of individuals for serious crimes, felonies. Back then, they were afraid that the king would just say, prosecute him, prosecute him, prosecute him. Today, we're concerned about politically motivated politicians who want people prosecuted, whether it's for election issues or whether it's for other issues. And the way to avoid that is the grand jury system. So what it means is that they take 23 people from the community in the county, they put them in a room, and they hear evidence. It's not closed. It's close to the court. It's close to the public, and the grand jurors are anonymous. And those people then hear evidence about a particular case. If they decide that there's enough evidence to indict someone, in other words, that there's probable cause to believe they committed the crime, then they will bring what's called a true bill, and they will then bring an indictment, and then that indictment the prosecutor has to uses to go forward with the case. So that's what the basic system is, but it's not close. It's close to the public, so people don't know. It can't be influenced by politicians, and most importantly, the witnesses who testify are kept in secret, and everybody has to stay secret about what happens. So if, for example, someone is thought to have committed a crime and they're investigated, and it turns out that there is no probable cause to believe it, that whole investigation is kept secret. So that person is not then brought into the community that they were arrested or that they were charged with something that in fact they did not do. Mm-hmm. So that's another positive of the system.
And then cases that don't make it to grand jury, why is that?
Well, if it's a misdemeanor, it won't go to the grand jury. But there are other felonies that the only other way you could be prosecuted for a felony and not go into the grand jury is if you waive your right to have a grand jury indictment, and usually that's plea bargains. Mm-hmm. So the cases, and the grand jury system is not throughout the entire United States. The federal system uses a grand jury system, requires it, and so does most of the Northeast states, as well as most of the East Coast. But what has happened is, and where it really becomes useful is investigations involving police shootings. And I can tell you that in New York, just about every district attorney's office will, any police shooting that involves a fatality, if the police shoot someone or kill someone, that case is always presented to a grand jury. No matter how clear-cut it is that the police officer may have done something wrong or that the police officer acted completely correctly. No matter what, they're going to put that case in the grand jury, certainly all the DAs in the Hudson Valley, that you can get this news network. And the reason they do that is because they want to make sure that all the evidence is heard, that everyone is on the record. For the most part, the police officer who actually did the shooting will testify. Mm-hmm. And they want to make sure that the people of the county hear the evidence and decide whether or not the police officer's conduct was correct or whether it was not correct. That's the fair way to do it, so that you don't have to worry about that there was some kind of political influence to get a certain result, either in favor of the police or against the police. So that's one of the benefits of the grand jury system, and it's why the grand juries are used in New York all the time involving any type of police shooting.
Great to clear that up. And that is Your Right to Know with Tony DeFazio, as we try and give you information on the law, the due process, and your right to know. We'll see you next time.